The title of this video is not clickbait at all. There's a 3-star memory in AOTR that is absolutely stupid, broken, and easy to use, and almost no one knows about it. So little people know about it that somehow this unbalanced broken memory made it through both the devs who scripted it and the testers who saw no problems with it. The issue about it is that you will never understand just how broken it is until you start doing the math for it. And if you watched my previous mathematically proving video, you know I'm a fan of math. So even if you don't like math at all, sit back and relax, and let me make this as easy as possible to follow along with. Enough gatekeeping, it's time to reveal what the best memory in the game in terms of damage is. It's actually the Thunder Spear memory called Marksman. I know what you're thinking, the numbers don't look broken, so what am I on about? Or maybe you watched my video on the most broken build in the game utilizing Helos, which, if you haven't seen that video, you should definitely check it out after this one. Simply put, the reason why this memory is so broken is because when you compare it to everything else in the game, it outperforms it all by a long shot. Enough talk. Now let me show you why this is the most overpowered memory in the game. Let's start with a 4-star memory, which everyone thinks is one of the best in the game. Gambler. Gambler makes it so that every attack can either do as low as 75% of the damage you would have done, or 130%. As you can see, the lower end is not as severe as the higher end extends, meaning more often than not, you're getting a positive damage gain by using this memory than a negative. If you use Perfect Form, the memory becomes even more rewarding. But Perfect Form is a power creep memory, which means it doesn't hold up to the mythic perk standards, even with its synergy with Gambler, so I am going to exclude that. Now back to Gambler. Let me give you an example. If I punch 1,000 times in Shifter form, it is more likely that the damage I do in total would be slightly higher than what I would have done without it due to the range values. So to calculate the average damage percent of your original damage value you will be doing, all you need to do is add the lower range to the upper range and divide it by 2. This leaves us with a value that proves that no matter how many times we attack, on average, we will do 102.5% of what we would have done without it. Don't misinterpret what this means though, because you can do a raid and get really unlucky or really lucky the entire time, getting completely different clear times because of the concept of RNG. But like I said, if you deal damage as many times as you would like, odds are that the damage you deal will end up being 102.5% of what you would have dealt without it. Now that we completely understand Gambler, let's circle back to Marksman and use Gambler as a point of comparison to show just how much stronger Marksman is than Gambler. Marksman functions so that every 7.5 meters the Thunder Spear travels, you deal an extra 0.4% damage for that attack. These numbers are very forgettable and innocent at first glance. But take note, Gambler technically only provides you with, on average, a 2.5% damage boost. So let's try to visualize how much extra damage we might deal with Marksman. I don't know what the exact Thunder Spear detonation distance is, but with a max build, it's between 150 to 160 meters. If you have ever used Thunder Spears, you'll know that you're almost never within that detonation range until you need to actually fly forward and detonate it. With that logic, you're always firing Thunder Spears, either at the detonation range or further. For simplicity's sake, let's round the detonation distance down to 150 meters. In order to calculate how much extra damage we deal by firing our Thunder Spears as close as the detonation range, which you will almost never do. Firstly, take our distance from the Titan, which is 150 meters, and divide it by 7.5 meters to calculate how many units of damage we have. This leaves us with 20, which means that the 0.4% is multiplied 20 times to calculate our damage multiplier at 150 meters. This means our additional damage multiplier is 8%, meaning we will deal 108% damage if we fire as close as detonation range, which you will basically never do. It's almost impossible to find yourself firing Thunder Spears from that close, but even in the worst-case scenario, you're already dealing more damage than Gambler. Now, let's calculate our damage multiplier range if we were shooting from a range that you're normally at from the Titan. Typically, you shoot thunder spears from about 200 to 400 meters. This is what the same formula looks like from before. Divide your distance by 7.5 meters and multiply it by 0.4. So with our lower range average shooting distance value, that works out to be an additional damage multiplier of 10.7% rounded up to the nearest decimal place. This alone, shooting subconsciously with no mechanical skill involved at still a pretty close range, deals more than 4 times the extra damage of Gambler. If we use the same formula for the upper range average shooting distance value, we end up with an additional damage multiplier of 21.3, rounded down to the nearest decimal. This is already almost 9 times better than Gambler. I was also going to compare Marksman to Afterimages too, but due to the fact that it's too time-consuming to calculate, I'm going to skip that part. However, if you do want to compare the two memories, I will write down everything you'll have to consider in the pinned comment below. So, in summary, Marksman grants an insane damage boost, can be prioritized for any Thunder Spear builds, and most importantly, is easy to obtain and use. So use this memory before the developers get onto it as well. There's another broken memory that I haven't mentioned that I might make a video on soon too. And this memory isn't exclusive to Thunder Spears for the Titan shifters watching that can't use Marksman. If this video does decently, I'll do my best to get this video out as soon as possible. If you enjoyed this video or any of my other videos, please feel free to subscribe and join my Discord, as I make informational videos like this all the time. Feel free to join my regiment, as well as try out for my new regiment for the sweats in my server. I'm aiming to get this new regiment in the top 25 too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.